Hi there. I want to welcome anybody who comes in to the Private Membership Association live Zoom today, and it is now recording. So if you are here, thank you. And if you're interested, I'm sure that you are probably part of our school group, or if you're not, you're more than welcome to join that, and I'll put a link in the description to that. But first of all, welcome. I'm Skyra Marie of Quantum Detanglement Community. The quantum detanglement obviously is something that we are all moving through with our awakening process, where we are freeing ourselves from a lifetime, generational, ancestral, and cosmic traumas and binds and energetic binds that have somehow kept us from the full freedom that we are here to be, the living souls, the living men and women. And so that was kind of my story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a business owner all my life, and I worked in contracts. A lot of I was a business owner, but I was always the one who had to deal with the contracts and the clients, and on top of the artist in me, which some of these contracts where I was a full service bridal shop. I helped my ex. We ran a welding and fabrication shop. And I've worked in government contracts. So all of those interesting things that led up to this moment where I have been on the awakening and inner healing path, moving to inner and outer freedom for many years. I have worked in coaching women from the post-addiction, from holistic wellness and natural health. I was a huge advocate in 2020 for the freedom of people to make choices in what they're putting in their body. Um, So this is what led me to this. It's what led me to beginning to understand what it meant to have a private membership association. At the time, I was living in Hawaii, and I'm still here. I'm actually, excuse the space. It's a little bit weird lighting. I'm actually in a temporary space right now, um, intending to go back to the mainland after 7 years. And so I'm in a temporary location right now recording this. So I'm getting ready to fly soon. So what happened, I remember in 2021, I was at a community and we in Hawaii, and we had all the farmers markets were shut down. And so was in a community with a man from Colorado that had found a way to create a private membership association so that the people who still wanted to come and we still wanted to trade and still wanted to buy our products and that we were making, that we were gathering. That was our social events. And it kept the government. It was outside the government jurisdiction, so we were still able to continue on with our farmers markets. I was fascinated by that. I was fascinated, and it led me to the depths of the underworld of what is happening in our legal system, all systems between the health, legal system. So I'm not going to get fully into that in this video because I just want to get kind of into what it is we're here today. What is a PMA? What's a unincorporated nonprofit association, and or a faith-based organization? So anyway, thank you for showing up and let me get on with it. So there's many different names. It could be called a PMA. It can be called a UP or UPMA, which is an unincorporated private member ministerial association, private member association, unincorporated nonprofit association, and an FBO, which is a faith-based organization. So all of these names have similarities, but they have different meanings when it comes to actually creating what it is that you are, what your intention is, what your purpose is. So that is the most important thing is to know what your purpose and what it is that your mission is for this, so that you can create the correct documents and the correct contracts for your potential or incoming um, members of your association or membership. So there's the FBO, the faith-based organization, is what we're going to call it for the actual contract for the Articles of Association, for government purposes, because in order to have a 508c1a non-taxable, tax-exempt organization, which is still unregulated, it's still not going to be it's not, that's going to be just the actual organization. And then you have your private membership association, your member association, which is private completely. So the only dealings that you have would be just the tax exempt status, which needs to be established. Um, so all of this aligns with the natural ecclesiastic and non-statutory law. It's non-statutory means we don't deal in the public courts. We deal in ecclesiastical law. Um, so, so why the private domain? Why should we operate privately? Well, it's becoming pretty apparent in our life that the government overregulations, the overstepping. There's no state in incorporation. So that means we don't have to incorporate with the state. There's no state control. There's no annual reports. There's no government oversight. There's no you don't have to get a license or anything like that. So the 508c1a status is presumed tax exempt without filing. And then so the private contract is not public. It's not in statutory law. So what the UNA or the UNA or the FBO, the faith-based organization is, and I also wanted to say, I know that there's people who have questions. I'm going to go ahead and post this into the community afterwards, and any questions, because I have a limited time to record today. I actually started the video too soon, but anyway, so I can ask any questions on the video inside the community. So, um, so there's 9 crucial aspects of a contract to actually make it as a protection. It has to, all of these aspects have to be in the contracts. Um, so a UNA or FBO, a faith-based organization, functions through private agreement, which through like clients, through events, retreats, online sales, huge. You have to have that in all your terms on your websites so that when a client purchases something or a course or enrolls in anything that you're doing, that they have that, they are able to read your private membership association. And why does, so that removes you from commercial regulations and licensure traps and administrative code enforcement. I'm sorry, I have a lot of notes that I was not able to get up on my notes on Zoom, so I am reading them to keep myself together. So the reason that we do the private membership associations, the faith-based organizations, is it's a private membership, and it brings the public into the private jurisdiction. So it's the only way we can operate is in order for us not to be, we can have public facing like websites or whatever it is that we're advertising to, but in order to we have we want to bring the people into our private jurisdiction, and they have to do that by agreement. So the membership agreement, our member agreement, people will voluntarily transition to private law, private governance, private dispute resolution, and private spiritual or education relation. It protects your sacred work from interference. This is a spiritual matter. We are dealing in a we're dealing with obviously in spiritual dimensions right now where we are having to remove ourselves from the public jurisdiction of the tyranny of the laws that we are under. So this is perfect for healers, for alternative, those who are teaching things that they are trying to regulate, that overregulating nature. So teachers, healers, ministers, community builders. There's no medical board interferences. There's no state licenses and battles. This is for medicine carriers as well. This could be for anybody who is teaching anything which is alternative outside of the public jurisdiction. So there's no forced alignment with public codes. And of course, this is assuming that you are causing no harm and the client has equal responsibility for entering into that contract. So they have discernment. We got to have discernment on board. We got to learn how to relate to each other in fairness and love and respect and honor. So we're not operating in a way that is not an honor. So having a faith-based organization or private membership organization association gives you the ability to hold property, bank accounts, and assets. It can hold property and different things in many states. You just have to have different PMA set up in different states. So you can receive gifts, donations. It's very low risk. It's no ownership, no shareholders. Any products or services that you offer, any retreats or anything, everything is by donation to the organization. So Una can accept money and property, vehicles, crypto, precious metals, life insurance gifts, all treated as tax deductible, I'm sorry, not deductible, non-taxable donations. So great setup. So the Una and Unincorporated private membership recipient is not a corporation. So, but it can hold property. It has the best setup for this is having you can definitely, it gives you lots of protection. If you that's the first step I always recommend if you're out there working with the public and you want to protect yourself. This is one of the best things you can do right away. This is number one. It's your protection against the public. With outside when you're operating outside in the public. It brings them into the private jurisdiction under your terms and your conditions, so that you have that protection at all. So then, in order, like if you want to have property, if you want to buy property, purchase property, have cars, it's best to have a separate trust, which would also be an unincorporated business organization trust or UBOT, and that will be another course coming. So there's a trifecta, which is the private membership association, the trust, and then we work in equity law to deal in any kind of court or dealings that we might have to come into, or for discharge or things like that, which I'll get into in other videos. So a private business trust can donate up to 100% of what it receives to the UNA, as long as it's an unincorporated business organization trust set up under equity jurisprudence. And the unas and the upmas, there is two stewards. You have to have two people to gather that you have somebody trusted that you could bring in because it prevents one person from being seen as a sole owner. It adds private governance stability, prevents collapse of the association if one steward withdraws or passes. It strengthens the private jurisdiction. It's an assembly of members, of stewards for this association. Um, it doesn't mean the second steward has control. It means that you're going to define their role, and it could be that they are just becoming a member. So these structures allow us to operate in the private, lawful, spiritual, and education missions outside of incorporation. They are federal tax exempt without the burdens of the 501(c)(3). Um, a PMA provides a lawful foundation to operate in the private domain. They so with this, it's super important to not have a cookie cutter PMA that it's out there right now. You can just the downloadable PMAs they're mixing statutory legalese language with living soul language and living soul contract. That's super important. It's putting people at risk. I'm bringing this up because it's super important to protect yourself. And a lot of these contracts are falling apart because they're not set up the correct way. They're not using the correct language, the correct words. There's word trickery that's happening. Um, just a little bit more about me. I have been studying trust law and private membership associations for the last 3 years behind the scenes, and quite in a unconventional way. It took my everything I had. I have actually was living and tell my story because a lot of people want to know some of my story. I was living in a van, um, and I was so intrigued by understanding this that I decided to quit everything and go travel across country and study and do home sitting and things like that to get through this till I've created my own structures and to now bring this out into the public jurisdiction because it's so important. We are in the middle of spiritual warfare right now. And this is totally, once I know, you'll know my background and my story, which I'll be sharing another time, um, that how important this is. This is my soul mission. Um, so a lot of these contracts have misuse of words because people are jumping on the bandwagon and they're trying to put quick things out they haven't done. They don't they don't realize the full implications of what it means to operate in the public and private jurisdiction within contracts and the words, because contracts are everything. Our spoken and our written word, our signature, are basically our energetic frequency. It's our agreement. Everything is an energetic contract, and it's so important to have the correct wording in this. Um, so you'll be able to comprehend why many PMAs fall under pressure. That the foundation, the clarity, the precision, and the honor matters more than the slogans. Uh, In the lessons, you'll know what is truly private, and what will not hold when it's challenged. Contracts bind the soul. So in the course highlights, I'm going to go through the highlights of the creation cohort, and what that is. It's going to be a multi I have it's a probably likely going to be a seven course, a seven module course. I haven't set it up yet. That's my next step. This is for those who are interested in what this is and setting them up. And so there will be coming information about the course. I'm going to give you the highlights of the course and what it is that we're actually going to be doing in the course, to create your own faith-based organization, your private membership association. So the private member application will be crafted and tailored applications to suit your association's needs. So that means that's what's going to be facing to the public, and it's going to be completely crafted, and there's going to be a template, but we're going to craft them exactly to your needs and what it is that you're offering out there to the world. There's a declaration of charter, bylaws, certificate of execution, member agreement, which I just stated. Um, and in the member agreement and the declaration of charter, there's going to be member levels, and the declaration of the charter, which I think I said already. So we'll be setting up the EIN and the 501c1A with it's a fairly simple process. You don't have to worry about it. You do have to have an address. You're going to have to know the other person that you want to bring in with you on this private membership association setup. And I'm going to help you open a bank account. You're going to have understand your purpose. We're going to write your purpose, your mission, uh, and what members are you targeting, or not targeting, but that's not a great word. So who is your members? What are they? Um, what is their dynamics? What are you focusing on in your private membership association? So we're also going to have the letter that is going to help you with your bank account setup, which may or may not be it's usually okay with a PMA. It's probably because it's an ecclesiastical. It's a little different when it's a trust. That's when it gets a little bit different because they aren't seeing many of those yet. It was an interesting experience when I went to go set up mine, but I got it done, and so. Uh, and all the other part that we'll be discussing was the website essentials, what you need to set up in your website, and of course the minutes of the execution, the declaration and contract, so that you can actually uh, decide to set up your bank account. It sounds complicated, but it's not. We can get through it in 7 modules. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into what it means to set up the faith-based organization, private membership association, the membership agreement, set up your um, bank account and in the EINs to get that. And then you're going to be good to go. You're going to be protected. You're going to be bringing people. And so in the first course, I'm also going to have an offering, which will be the essentials to learn. Um, sorry, I read that down somewhere. What was it? I'm going to be teaching the 9 crucial aspects of the contracts as well. But it is going to be, going to be a whole nother section on what it means to be operating in as a living soul, like the energetics of it. Um, it's going to be the foundations, and I'm going to be including that in this first cohort because it is the first creation of a group cohort that I'll be holding. So if you want to be in on this first cohort, you will be getting both modules, which is uh, the whole creation of the PMA plus the other course. Um, because I don't have it up yet for people to take it first. So I'm going to give this both in this course. So the and that may be about uh I'm going to try to do that in like 3 modules, but it's going to be broken down more. But I'll add that into this cohort, that information, so that you know the basics of legalese, you know the basics of the energetics of this and the speaking and what it means to operate in the private as opposed to the public jurisdiction. Word spells, word casting. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of background foundational things that is really important to know so that you can understand what it means to operate as a living soul, and the words that we do not want to get entangled into, because this is all the quantum detanglement out of the witchcraft. They tell us that we're the witchcraft, but they're the ones that are creating the witchcraft or have created the witchcraft to entangle us. And we are now seeing through the veil. We are seeing through the illusions, and we are finding using their own laws. We are walking between the worlds. This doesn't mean that we are completely leaving the systems. We have to utilize the systems, but this is a shamanic journey. This is a walk between the worlds and embodying the true living souls that we are. So I hope this helped. And anyone who has any questions, please just reach out. You can ask questions in the community. And I will be sending out links to the landing page to join into the cohort that's coming up, and it will be starting in, I think it was March. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but I'll make sure you get all that information. So if you have any questions about what it means for PMA, UNA, faith-based organization, anything like that, reach out. I'm here. This will go on, and continuing the educating those of us who are interested in sovereign living, who are interested in embodying our inner power and our authority, the true power, the power that we inherently have, that we are children of God, that we have that inherent power inside of us already. And we are now bringing that into this earthly realm. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. Aloha.